Continuing our mock draft series with the Atlanta Falcons, currently picking number 17 overall in the NFL draft, fighting for a playoff spot right now as we head into the final week of the regular season. They currently have an 8-8 record heading into week 18. Max Chadwick alongside Dalton Wasserman here with Atlanta. All right, Dalton, we're doing a 3-round mock draft again. Atlanta only has 2 picks in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft, so we got to make them count in this one. Of course, we're doing this with the PFF Mock Draft Simulator that you can find at PFF.com. You can draft for the Falcons, your favorite team, or all 32 NFL teams using the PFF Mock Draft Simulator. We're only doing 3 rounds in this mock draft. If you want to do a full 7 rounds, you can using the Mock Draft Simulator, and you could trade players and picks if you want to do that as well. We're not going to be doing it in this mock draft, but you can if you want to. So let's pull up the mock draft simulator right now. The Atlanta Falcons at number 17 overall. Very curious to see who will be on the board for us, Dalton, here at number 17 overall. I kind of want to attack defense heavy. A lot of defenders went, though.
So, yeah, what jumps out at you when you watch the Falcons is the lack of a pass rush.
Yes.
And it's gotten a little bit better.
It's been like that for a decade, honestly.
Yeah, it has. It's been a problem, I would say, ever since, that one big year that Vic Beasley had?
Yeah.
Or was it 16 sacks?
And I mean that one big year.
Right, exactly, yeah. It's been a problem getting pressure. They need a pass rusher. But I got to be honest with you, and this one guy I know that's going to jump at you because he's a little lower on our board maybe than he should be, and I'm betting if we scroll down a little bit there, you might get a James Pierce Jr. sighting somewhere here.
There he is.
That'd be
my pick.
That would be the guy.
He's a top 10 player on my board, I think.
That would be the guy.
Yeah.
If he were to fall to the Falcons at 17 here, I think you just talk about as a pure pass rusher. I think his absolute floor, which is ironic because I think it was in the same spot in the draft, to me his absolute floor is Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
I think he's a better version of that. Freakish athlete, freakish power to speed, bend off the edge, got an inside move he can work in, and he's gotten better in run defense this year too. And the Falcons' run defense is a little bit better than their pass rush, but they need a freak. They need a freak on the edge. I mean, they don't have a consistent presence, especially off the edge, rushing the passer. The Matt Judon trade really did not work this year. Again, the sad part is they've gotten it going a little bit the last few weeks. And now the secondary's falling apart as they've gotten a pass rush, so they just can't put it together in pass defense. But it's one of the most obvious needs in the NFL is the Falcons needing an elite pass rusher. James Pierce Jr. very well could be that guy.
Yeah, he's a top 10 player on my board. I think he's at least going to be edge 2 for me. There's even an argument for me with Abdul Carter. I mean, I think James Pierce Jr. for 2 years now has been one of the best pass rushers in college football. Freak athlete as well. And like you said, he got so much better as a run defender this year. So I love it. Yeah, James Pierce Jr. absolutely. Number 17 overall to the Atlanta Falcons. One last pick here at number 49 overall in the NFL draft. Some interesting players here. Again, I kind of want to go defense heavy a little bit here.
We could. The other thought I have is receiver, or maybe, I know it's been a controversial thing in Atlanta lately, but tight end. Where are we at with the tight end situation? And
we got Jaden Higgins on the board here. Restrepo's on the board.
I wouldn't hate it, Jaden Higgins. I think if Jaden Higgins wouldn't be bad. Restrepo's not bad either. If we're gonna leave Mooney on the outside, it does feel like this Falcons offense is one weapon short, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I know last year. In last year's draft, there was some conversation about, before they shocked us all by taking Michael Penix, it was, are they going pass rusher or are they going Rome Odunze?
Right.
Because there was a realistic thing that where you could take Rome Odunze and you have a London, and you have Odunze, and then you have Mooney in the slot. I think receiver is a very real option here, I think. And I'm just kind of looking at, Mooney's been about 50-50, but actually he's played 58% on the outside. So a slot weapon like Restrepo does make some sense. I know Jack Betch from TCU is gaining a lot of steam. Savion Williams has a lot of potential after the catch. Got some unsteady hands, but he's got a lot of potential with the ball in his hands, and he's a huge guy, like 6'5" and 230, moving in kind of a freakish way. I mean, you've got options here if you wanted to go receiver. I know we just went Jaden Higgins to Carolina in our other draft, so I think it would be a decent fit here. Restrepo, I love Restrepo. Right now, I think I got him wide receiver of like 5 on my board. I love that guy. So it's an option. I think we have options as far as since we went defense in the first round and Pierce, we could double up and go somewhere down the middle of the defense, or I think receiver, a pass-catching weapon's a good option.
Yeah, who were some of like the D tackles and linebackers available? If we could pull that up, thanks. Yeah, there we go. I
don't hate Chris Paul.
I don't hate Chris Paul
either. I think a traditional linebacker in this defense would help because
I don't hate Deion Walker either.
You do have Caden Ellis, but he's a solid run defender, but he's kind of weird in the sense of his best attribute is his blitzing, his pass rushing, and they kind of use him in this like Frankie Louvu kind of role. A traditional linebacker like a Chris Paul would help you. Although Nate Landman's been okay in run defense, it's a coverage, it's an issue with him. I could see it. You could add it in there. Troy Anderson hasn't really worked out for him. You know, he was kind of a project when he came in. They're still trying to figure that out. So linebacker makes some sense. D tackle makes some sense. Although they went heavy on the defensive line with kids last year, right? They took Brandon Dorless. One of the, I forget which Clemson kid did they take? Did they take a row?
Yes.
Yeah, that was it. I knew they took one of the Clemson guys. So they went heavy with young kids on the defensive line last year. Now I know they needed an elite pass rush guy, but maybe they stay to the developing. Maybe it's
linebacker.
Maybe it's receiver or linebacker in this spot. I wouldn't hate it.
So do you like Chris Paul Jr. or like a guy like Jaden Higgins a little more than in this spot? That's the two I'm between right now for Atlanta.
Chris Paul.
I think I might go Higgins.
There's Higgins. I love Restrepo. I'm not gonna. It's hard for me personally to pass on Restrepo. I think he's so good.
Yeah.
And Mooney's been playing actually more so on the outside where you could then just leave him out there and have Restrepo inside. And it gives you options. Like, I think about Restrepo in the sense of, remember at Washington with Penix, somebody like Restrepo, that was Jalen McMillan, right? You think about it, you have a Drake London.
Yeah.
You have a Darnell Mooney who can do some things downfield. And then you get a Restrepo where you can kind of start doing a lot of weird things with and just get first downs. I would lean Restrepo. I think he's just terrific. He's not going to be the guy that lights up the combine. He's going to light up the drills. Like his route running, the way he stems his routes, his football IQ. I would go Restrepo here before I went Higgins. For me, he's one of my favorite. Right. He's one of my favorite players in the draft.
Let's do it. Let's do Xavier Restrepo then, the wide receiver from Miami, to get a new best friend for Cam Ward in that offense. Just a recap: we got James Pierce Jr., my guy in the draft, the edge defender from Tennessee, and Dalton's guy in the draft, Xavier Restrepo, the wide receiver from Miami, to the Atlanta Falcons in this mock draft. I remind you guys, you can do your own mock draft using the PFF Mock Draft Simulator at pff.com. And stay tuned for more mock drafts coming out very soon, with one more in the NFC South.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you become one today.